welcome to the stage, nice and loud, Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah! I'm just me. I got the it factor.
See, right as the entire league was putting the final touches on their game plans for the season opener, Shedeur Sanders just dropped a nuclear financial bomb that has traditional NFL executives absolutely spiraling. We're talking about a massive, game-changing extension and custom shoe lineup with Nike that completely shatters how rookie branding operates in professional sports history. This isn't just a standard athletic endorsement. This is an absolute takeover of the swoosh empire, continuing the legacy of his father, Shedeur Sanders, but taking it to an unprecedented level that is making front offices deeply uncomfortable. And when you look at the hidden details buried deep inside this deal right before he steps onto the field, it changes everything we thought we knew about the Sanders playbook. To really grasp why this sudden announcement sent emergency phone calls ringing across front offices from New York to league headquarters, you have to look at how the system has always tried to keep young players in line. For decades, the NFL rookie pipeline operated like a strict corporate military assembly line. A young quarterback gets drafted, puts his head down, signs a standardized contract, and keeps his mouth shut. You wait your turn, pay your dues, and if you perform well after 3 or 4 years, maybe, just maybe, a major brand offers you a signature sneaker line. The owners hold the leverage, the league dictates the terms, and young stars are taught to fall in line. But if you've watched Shedeur Sanders for 5 minutes, you know he doesn't ask for permission, he dictates the terms. When Nike officially released the teaser footage right before game day, showing Shedeur rocking custom cleats and throwing up his iconic watch flex celebration with the bold text, "You know what time it is," the internet instantly went into a state of total chaos. Anonymous scouts and old-school NFL media spent months claiming that Shedeur's off-field hype would cool down once he entered a professional locker room. They predicted that major corporate brands would pull back, waiting to see if he could survive the speed and violence of an NFL defense before handing him the keys to a global campaign. Instead, Nike did the exact opposite. They didn't just back him, they doubled down, tying his personal brand directly into the legendary Diamond Turf legacy while expanding his individual corporate equity.
2 seasons ago on ESPN Plus, and now you're on every single platform in primetime, every channel. But we'll start with, how does it feel for you to be a Nike NIL football athlete and a part of the Nike family?
Well, it's definitely amazing. You originally were Nike anyway, so they finally brought back Dad's shoes, and I'm really excited for that. And it just feels like home, so I'm really excited for the opportunity.
You mentioned them bringing back your dad's shoes, the Dirty Birds. Go ahead. What do you think about them?
I got the Dirty Birds on right now. They're officially released today, and it's really exciting. I actually wasn't alive whenever. I don't think whenever they had the shoes coming out back then. So then finally, now I was able to see everybody wearing them, everybody supporting the brand.
Yeah, the Nike Air DT Max 96, for those of you that don't know, the Dirty Bird version. And, we mentioned being a part of the Nike family and your family in general.
Think about the sheer power move that represents on the eve of a season opener. While other rookies are frantically memorizing playbooks, fighting off pregame nerves, and hoping they don't get benched, Shedeur is dictating global retail markets. We're talking about an athlete who had already disrupted the college landscape as Nike's first ever football NIL signee. Now, by securing a massive record-setting extension right before taking his first official regular season snap, he has proven that his brand operates completely independent of traditional NFL timelines. It sends a clear, unmistakable message to every owner and general manager in the league. Shedeur Sanders does not need the NFL to make him a star. He was already a global institution before he ever put on an NFL helmet. And let's be completely honest with each other. That exact level of financial freedom drives traditional football purists absolutely insane. For years, critics have tried to build a very specific narrative around Shedeur. When he was tearing up defenses at Jackson State under prime time, they claimed he was just taking advantage of lower-level competition. When he transferred to Colorado and threw for over 3,000 yards with 27 touchdowns, they said he was too flashy, too focused on his diamond chains, and too reliant on his father's fame. Every single time he stepped onto the field, an army of doubters sat back with their arms crossed, waiting for him to fail so they could yell, "See, he's a product of media hype."
That's the biggest thing, and it makes me happy seeing when people have the logo on, just representing the brand, like the hoodie representing the brand, everything like that. It makes me happy.
If you had to describe, because you've mentioned a couple of things, and as we start to wrap up, if you had to describe your brand, what are a few words that describe what that is?
There's one word. It's legendary.
Y'all can clap for that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. This is an extremely good word.
Yeah. Anybody knows me on Instagram, that's the only word I use.
Why is that word so important to you?
Because I'll say it works in all aspects of life. You just having a high standard for yourself, you having a different path, different everything that a lot of people won't be able to understand unless they're actually you. So that's why I say legendary, because it always keeps me driven, and I understand what I'm doing and what we're doing as a city and just as a team is going to be different.
With the legend that your dad is and the legendary career that he had, how did you resist not wanting to compete with that or pursue that? Like, how did that inspire you instead of make you fearful at times or feel like it was too much?
Instead, Shedeur took every single piece of slander, every passive-aggressive comment from television analysts, and every draft night slide criticism and converted it directly into high-stakes leverage. Do you really think it's an accident that Nike dropped this massive endorsement deal right before week 1? That isn't luck. That is calculated, cold-blooded business execution. Nike doesn't throw tens of millions of dollars at players just because they have a famous last name. They do it because they know Shedeur Sanders commands an audience that moves culture, drives sales, and completely captures the attention of the next generation of sports fans. When you break down what this Nike contract actually signifies, the strategic layers are jaw-dropping. This isn't just about handing him a pair of custom cleats for warm-ups or putting his face on a billboard near the stadium. Reports circulating through sports business circles indicate that this partnership bridges the historic diamond turf line with Shedeur's modern, digital-first aesthetic. We're talking about signature apparel, custom lifestyle lines, and global marketing pushes that place him alongside top-tier multi-sport icons. He is building a generational, family-owned athletic brand in real time, effectively blurring the lines between player, influencer, and corporate executive. Now, step inside an NFL locker room or an opponent's defensive meeting room right after this news hits the wire. General managers like to believe they have complete psychological leverage over their players. They want a rookie who is hungry, desperate for match bonuses, and living in constant fear of losing his job so they can control him. But how do you control a young quarterback who walks into the stadium holding a Nike deal that pays him more than half the veteran roster? Suddenly, the traditional power dynamic is flipped upside down. You can't intimidate him. You can't hold his rookie contract over his head, because his personal enterprise generates massive revenue entirely outside of his NFL paycheck. He plays the game because he is obsessed with winning and dominating his competition, not because he needs the money to buy his next car.
Well, I would say try to get in community and do something that's actually going to touch the kids. If I was sitting in this audience, what would I want to hear? I could be up here giving bland answers and not saying, what's true to me, but regardless if it's risky or not, I'm going to just say it because that's how I truly feel, and I always stay true to myself. So just understanding when I was younger, what would I need and what would I want out of somebody that's in a position that I'm in, and being able to accomplish what I'm able to accomplish.
I think that's interesting that you say that, because some people might think like, oh, I need to put on for these young kids. I need to be different for these young kids. How are you so authentic to who you truly are as you inspire them?
Nothing that we do is fake. Jewelry real for sure. We ain't never wear fake jewelry. That's one.
Of course, pulling off a high-profile move like this right before a season opener places a massive, flashing bullseye right on his chest. You know as well as I do how brutal an NFL field can be. Opposing defensive coordinators aren't going to look at his new Nike contract and feel intimidated. They're going to feel insulted. Every veteran pass rusher, every blitzing linebacker, and every hard-hitting safety is going to be licking their chops, waiting for the opportunity to drive him into the turf. They want to lay a hit so hard that it knocks the swagger right out of him, just so they can walk over his lying body, look down, and ask him what time it is now. Can you imagine the suffocating pressure resting on this young man's shoulder pads every single time he steps under center? The margin for error is literally zero. If he throws a bad interception on his first drive, the internet will explode with mockery. If he takes a bad sack or misses an open receiver in the red zone, the sports radio hosts and television pundits will immediately start screaming into their microphones. They will claim that he spent all week focusing on shoe designs, commercial shoots, and brand activations, instead of studying pre-snap coverage disguises and blitz pickups. They are salivating at the thought of watching him struggle just so they can write the narrative that off-field fame ruined a gifted prospect. But if there is one thing Shedeur Sanders has proven throughout his entire football journey, it's that he thrives directly inside the firestorm. He was born into the bright lights. He was raised by a Hall of Famer who taught him that pressure is a privilege, not a burden. Think about what he went through at Colorado, playing behind an offensive line that was constantly leaking pressure, taking bone-crushing hits week after week, and still standing back up, fixing his helmet and throwing dots in the back of the end zone. He doesn't run away from the drama or hide behind boilerplate PR answers. He leans into the noise, taps his watch, and turns the hatred into fuel. Signing this massive deal with Nike right before the season kicks off is the ultimate statement of supreme confidence. It's a direct message to his teammates, his opponents, and the entire football world that says, "I know the eyes of the world are on me, and I am built to carry this weight." He isn't trying to hide his brand to make old-school critics feel comfortable. He is daring everyone to come try and stop him. Now, all the talking is officially over, and the lights are turning on. The stage is set for an epic, high-stakes collision between corporate stardom and the unforgiving reality of NFL football. If Shedeur steps out there in his custom Nike gear, carves up the defense, leads his team down the field, and secures season-opening victory, he immediately becomes an icon who cannot be stopped. He forces every front office in the league to recognize that the modern athlete operates under a brand new set of rules. But if he stumbles, if the defense overwhelms him, and if his team drops a brutal loss on national television, the wave of criticism will be relentless. The critics will use this exact Nike deal as Exhibit A in their case against him, claiming that he prioritized his bank account over his performance on the field. Now, I want to hear directly from you, the real fans who live and breathe this game every single week. Is Shedeur Sanders a mastermind pioneer who is changing the business of professional football forever, or did he just give opposing defenses all the motivation they need to ruin his season opener? Is this Nike deal a stroke of marketing genius or an unnecessary distraction right before the biggest game of his life? Jump down into the comment section right now, state your case, hit that subscribe button, and let's get this debate fired up.